Dear participants, we will start the session at 5:07 sharp. Landing your dream job is hard, and that's why we are here. A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the organizing committee, I warmly welcome you all to Mastering the Art of CV and LinkedIn, Create Your Job-Winning CV, presented by StudPro 5.0, organized by the IEEE Young Professionals Sri Lanka. Undoubtedly, this evening will be a great opportunity for you all to reveal more things about how to make a lasting good impression on your next interview with the perfect CV. Also, this will be an ideal platform for you to clear your doubts about how to best present yourself with your CV, and we hope that you will get the maximum benefit out of it. To take a nice onset onto the session, I would like to invite the chair of StudPro 5.0, Mr. Kavin Madhava, to welcome the gathering.
Thank you, Pamudi. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the organizing committee, I warmly welcome you all to Mastering the Art of CV and LinkedIn of StudPro 5.0, presented by IEEE Young Professionals Sri Lanka. I would like to extend a special welcome to our speaker today, Ms. Sara Mazu, who will be sharing her expertise on CV writing with you tonight. Thank you, Ms. Sara, for accepting our invitation and taking the time out of your busy schedule to join with us. It's my great pleasure to welcome the chairman of IEEE Sri Lanka section, Professor Pradeep Abegunawardena, and all the executive committee members of IEEE Sri Lanka section. Then I would like to welcome Young Professional Sri Lanka chairman, Mr. Dhammika Marasinghe, Student Activities Committee chairman, Mr. Chamika Subasinghe, as well as the section representative, Mr. Vidura Bandara. I would like to welcome all the attendees who are here with us today. StudPro 5.2 awaits to bring you a whole new variety of workshops and other valuable events to you to prepare to put your best foot forward in your future interviews, and followed by a career fair to help you get interviewed by the industry giants. Before we get started, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to all of you who generously helped us make this event to come to a success. I hope that you will be all left with something of value for your journey ahead after the completion of this event. I welcome you all once again to the session and hope you all that will gain a great time ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kavin. A small reminder to all of you, a Slido link will be shared in the chat box. So if you have any questions or any clarifications from our speaker, please drop them in the Slido. So without any further delay, let me introduce the guest speaker of today's session. An electrical engineer at the Ceylon Electricity Board with above 8 years work experience. She's also currently a visiting lecturer at the Faculty of Engineering, University of Runa. Having been awarded the IET Young Woman Engineer of the Year 2019, Sri Lanka, and Professor Sudatta Ranasinghe Gold Medal for Excellence in Research for MBA 2020, she is also a certified trainer. So I'm extremely honored to welcome Ms. Sara Mazu. Warmly welcome, and over to you, Madam.
Thank you very much, Pamudi. Thank you very much, Sahan, for inviting me in the first place. And I think we are going to commence the session without further ado, because it's a Sunday. Unfortunately, no power cuts today as per my interruption schedule in the CB Care app. I hope it's the same with you. So I'll start with sharing my screen. So as you can see, we are now focusing on mastering the art of CV and LinkedIn. I hope you can see my screen. And can Pamudi confirm that I am audible enough?
Yeah, ma'am, you're audible enough and we can see your screen clearly.
Okay, thank you very much. So when you see, no, I don't want to explain further about me. You have given me an introduction. So this is the amount of years that I have worked so far. And I think I have quite the knowledge and experience to share these insights with you about preparing a CV or resume, and also updating and keeping an good professional LinkedIn profile. So most probably you are completing a degree and you will be going on to the industry or higher studies, or you can also consider the path of an entrepreneur. It's all up to you. Most of the time when you're going to the industry or higher studies, academia, as we all call it, you will need a CV or resume for applying for that position. And then one thing that I have to highlight, I have seen this a lot in the new generations. Maybe it's like, the generation X, Y, Z, millennials, and there's a new generation now. I see this in the newest generation that's entering the workforce. They don't have sometimes a clear goal about what they want to be. So first of all, have a clear goal in your mind, who you want to be, what you want to be in 5 years or 10 years time. Is it a lecturer? Is it an engineer or someone in the industry? Is it an entrepreneur? What your goal is has to be clear, and you have to work for that goal without changing the goals all the time. So first of all, clearly define your target, where you want to go, and no second thoughts, because having second thoughts is going to detour your journey. So be clear about who you want to be, where you want to be in few years time. So if you don't have goals, it's very difficult to achieve those. Only 80% of the population don't have goals. That's why we see very few people successful in any industry. So 20% only have goals. So don't go into that 80%. Try to go into the 20%. Then previously, our skills were very basic, complex problem solving. When you look at the 2015 skill set, they are very basic and very monotonous. Service orientation, quality control, coordinating with others, people management, active listening, creativity. But when it comes to 2020, it has changed a lot. So cognitive flexibility, it's like, the way that you think and adjust for others. It's also called as other names, including emotional intelligence and negotiation. Now that's very important. It's a skill that is coming up the skill ladder. And creativity is also getting more and more importance when it comes to, performing well in a job. Creativity, because the more creative you are, more creative and out of the box solutions you can find for the complex problems, which is going to save a lot of time, resources, and cost. So in 2025, it's going to be very, very different and sometimes challenging. We all are in a very difficult situation right now. I know the future is a little bit, bleak. You don't know what's going to happen. But what I have to tell you as, youngsters with so much energy in yourself, believe in yourself. You can't believe in the government or you can't believe in anyone else, but you believe in yourself. So critical thinking and the analysis skill is very important as always. Problem solving, again, we know that we can't depend on the government or anything that else outside of us, but we have to try to become self-dependent. And resilience, this is what I have mentioned here in the third part. Skills in self-management, such as active learning. You have to adapt with the environment. The situations change, the outer environment also change. So you can't control what goes outside, but you can control how you react or respond to it and how you adapt to it. So active learning is very important. Keep learning every day, new things, new solutions, new skills, new problem solving methods, new techniques, everything, new strategies here. And resilience. Resilience is the more you are pushed back or the more you feel that you are crushing or failing, you have to think that you are going to get over that situation. Resilience. Even if you fail, coming back stronger is resilience. So always think that you are a capable person, you will be resilient. Tolerating stress. I know it's very difficult. even for adults these days, petrol queues and everything, but be prepared to tolerate the stress. Use stress as a tool to make your performance better, not the other way around. So you might see, if I'm able to, I'll search and share a video. There's a TED talk where a psychologist talks about how stress can be used in a positive manner in our lives. And then flexibility. Not everything goes our way, so you have to be very flexible in your future work and environment. Not a 9-to-5 job maybe, but still you have to do some adjustments to balance your work and personal life both. So it's true now, you can see that companies estimate that around 40% of workers will require reskilling in 6 months or less. Yes, who thought that we will be working from home back in 2018 or 2019? Did we even imagine? But no, we are, most of us, especially the IT firms and the electronics firms, when they can, they are working at home, working from home. And that is a reskill, people who didn't know to use a laptop, didn't know to use certain software, they had to learn that. So the youngsters will adapted to that more than the elderly workers. And you will have to pick up new skills on the job. True, like, you might have to, if you did not know a particular software or maybe a particular technique to do something, you might have to pick it up. Best example is Zoom. Earlier, we did not even consider Zoom when we were living before the pandemic, but now the pandemic and even the traveling costs, all of that has contributed to more and more using Zoom. It has its advantages as well. You can see now I am presenting to you from my home comfortably without having to travel all the way around, considering the situation in the country. So this is the situation coming forward. It will be very challenging, but you guys are very resilient. I know that you guys are challenge takers, young blood. So never give up, always have the positive attitude and be grateful for where you are right now. So gratitude and positive attitude, those two will work wonders. Now, let me focus on to the power of your CV. If I tell you that recruiters or the people who go through your CV for the first time when they're filtering, they take only like 6 seconds to go through that CV. Why? Because they have a lot of CVs to go through. If it's a 1 or 2 CV application, like a small job or a very specialized job, then they will have more time. But if they have thousands and hundreds of applications, they're definitely going to take little time to filter you. So you will have like 6 seconds to catch their attention. And most recruiters focus on the center of the document, the center. And white spaces are also important. Like if you have juggled in so many letters and words into that white paper, A4 sheet, then it's very difficult to read, right? So carefully entering or keeping spaces is a good tactic to catch their attention. And not bulleting everything is also a must. If you bullet or emphasize everything in your CV, then the most important things can be missed when scanning through the CV. And avoid pronouns like I did that, me, I did that with her, she, things like that. No, never use them, avoid them. Always it should be like, in the report writing format. Less is more. Like if you have too many colors, too many patterns and designs, then again it will be a little bit difficult to weave, except if you are applying for a creative job like a digital marketer, something like that. And then the school achievements. I see like sometimes when you put in too much of your school achievements, then you miss the opportunity to add the achievements that you have got after passing out from school. So it's okay to add your school achievements if you have space left. If not, consider avoiding them and putting the achievements that you got after passing out of school in the university or college. And further interest, this is very important. This is a point where you can use to grab the attention of the viewer. So if you have other interests apart from just being an academic, like an undergraduate, so you can market yourself that you are not a bookworm. You're not just a bookworm, not just a person who goes through the books and passes the exam or gets a mark, but you're a practical person. So you might have practical, like, interests, even photography, wildlife, interest in wildlife, like going and visiting the wildlife in your free time. Then you might have interests and hobbies like researching about certain technology, for example, drones, or you might have other interests like gadgets, buying and using gadgets, developing things in your free time, or do you do it yourself projects. All those things, if they are like, very interesting things, you can add there in your further interest to grab the reader's attention. Even if you are like, it can be even Toastmasters, for an example. If you say that you are an active member in Toastmasters, then definitely it says that you are a good leader and a good communicator. Naturally comes because Toastmasters is focusing on communication and leadership, both of those. And then you can do volunteer services in your Rotaract Club or maybe Lions Club in your area, things like that. Then even those volunteer experiences make the image of you being a leader and a good communicator and special figure in the society. So make it your special strategy, further interest. And the other things that you can include is problem solving skills. Of course, we all have that. We are learning in an engineering environment. So, and you have done physical science, maths and physics in your level. So you must have that skill. So you can add that. Team working. We are working in teams wherever we go, regardless of the same position or maybe subordinates or superiors. We have to work in a team. No one can work alone, and that doesn't work that way. You have to be the CEO if you're in your company, if you're not working with a big team, but still the CEO needs a team to get his work done. So this is very important. The negotiation skills. So if you are working in a customer related environment, sometimes you will have to reach a situation where both the customer and you are happy. For that, you need good negotiation skills. Like, you can't hurt the other party. You shouldn't get into a loss. Like, if you say okay to everything, you are going to incur a loss and you have to bear that. Without that, if you can reach a situation and agreement where both of you are satisfied with, that is called negotiation. You have to be very careful about that. It's a good skill. You can read about that as well. And sound, written and verbal communication skills. So if you have mentioned this, be very careful about the language in your CV. If you say you have good written skills, if there are spelling mistakes or grammar mistakes in your CV, it's going to say that you are not a genuine person, that you have lied already in your CV. So be very careful when you mention that. But if you have them, please get your CV reviewed by someone, maybe several people before submitting it, because even the best people can get the typos in their CV errors. And ethics and professionalism. If you are like, if you work in these volunteer societies, like what I mentioned earlier, Rotaract, Lions Club, you generally, naturally, you will be having this ethics and professionalism, and you have to propagate that, project that image in your CV as well. So if you don't have ethics and if you're projecting it in the CV, that's also not genuine. So always be genuine, but try to make good use of the things that you can add in your CV. And you can always include time and resource management. Of course, in the current world, resources are very limited. We can personally see that how limited the fuel is and electricity is, everything is very limited. So resource management is a good skill if you can add it, and time management. That means you can manage your work well. If you have anyway added like volunteer experiences and all that things, the recruiter can himself or herself see that you can manage your time well. While doing your academics, you are doing outside the society also a very good job. Most importantly, try to limit it to 2 pages as much as possible. More than 2 pages is like, it's going to bore them. They are not going to turn that much of pages. 2 pages will be, the maximum optimal. If it can be 1 page, is better, but 2 pages is like, the best that you can keep the length. And there are two things. How many of you have heard the words like resume and curriculum vitae? Have you heard both words? Like, can I get a raise of hands? Both words. How many of you have heard the words resume and curriculum vitae? Is it confusing? I'm sure it's confusing, right? Yes, you have heard this word, both of the words. So what it is really is, it's coming from a Latin word. The curriculum vitae is coming from a Latin word, course of life, and resume is a French word, like sum it up. So resume is the summary, 2-page or 1-page. Mostly like, people who have a lot of experiences, famous people, they can just use a 1-page summary, because you can like go to the internet and search about them. And the CV is like a long academic diary where you put everything that you have done. It's like course of life, as you mentioned. It's like most appropriate for academic positions when you are applying for a PhD, an MSc, or as a lecturer, as maybe what you call a PhD fellow in a university. When you're going for that option, a CV is what is required. A resume is when you are applying for work. But in Sri Lanka, we use these words interchanged. It's normal. But again, remember, when you are applying for a job, keep it very short and simple, as in 2 pages. For the CV, you can, when you are applying for the academic side, you can go for any pages, any amount of pages, because you have to add all your publications, your certifications, your grants, and the researches you are doing, the papers you have published, everything has to be included. So that is the main difference between these two. And when it comes like, this is how the recruiters scan when you get your CV. This is how they quickly scan. And if something interesting catches their eye, they will select you, filter you for the next step. If like they see the typos and errors, grammatical errors, and if they feel like you have copied it from somewhere, the first impression, if it goes bad, they will quickly toss it away. So very mindful about the presentation of your CV. Okay. In non-academic environments, like I said, CV and resume are used almost interchanged, but in Sri Lanka, okay? So it refers to the same document. So what do you include in a CV when you are applying for the academics? So everything like contact information, research objective, professional profile or personal statement. Education, professional academic appointments, like were you a demonstrator, were you a junior lecturer, and the books that you have contributed to, even a chapter or part of a chapter. Then peer-reviewed publications. How many publications you have peer-reviewed, and other publications that you are related to. Any awards or honors, if you have got like the best research paper published in a journal, things like that. How many grants and what are the grants and fellowships that you have been offered. The conferences you have participated in. Your experience in teaching, like how many years. Research experience. Non-academic activities, language and skills, memberships and references. Like even IEEE membership, that's a very good point to include in your CV. And references means they are going to ask about you if they are going to recruit you further. Let's go to the next slide. Okay. So this is like, a samples that I have abstracted from here and there. So first thing is keep it simple. Anyway, the more complex your CV is going to be, it's difficult to weave. So simple, sweet and simple, short and sweet, that's very important. So clear sections, clear headings, white spaces, no fancy graphics, and also like, the fonts, I'll come to that, fonts and, clear arrangement. It has to be clearly arranged. And you can see summary statement instead of an objective. you can add who you are, like, what are you about? What are the values, or what are your visions? What is your passion? You are passionate about what contribution can you bring to the organization as a person? What values you are particular about? Then you can add that there. So in this case, it's mentioned result-oriented product manager. So that is his value. He is result-oriented. Product manager with 5 years experience in fintech, some software. He's adept, and that means skilled at leveraging user research, strategic planning skills, and cross-functional collaboration to deliver software releases on time and under budget. So he's focused on time management and resource management under budget. So those are the things that you show, but not the same words. Pay attention, the words are very different. You can add beautiful words like this in your personal statement, summary statement it is called. And the third thing is key skills. If you have key skills, spotlight them. For example, you can even managing a Zoom meeting without any glitches. That's a top skill now. And if you can if you're focused on marketing, if you can work well with softwares like Adobe Photoshop, things like that, you can add that as well. But if you're a technical person, you have to add those technical skills. So you can see the technical skills. This guy had added is Agile, Scrum, Kanban, 5S, even things like that you can add there. And the design and prototyping, what software he is good with, HTML, Balsamic, I don't know what those, but you can add the things that you use, your tools and your skills. Now, tools are one thing, but skills are a separate thing. How good you add those? Then you have to spotlight those without spotlighting everything. So consider only using the very important skills there, not every skill, very important skill, unique skill, and the thing that you are very, very good at. And the fourth thing that you have to think about is, it's not clear here. Yeah, can be seen here. Latest experience first. So it's called like chronological order when you call it, putting the latest experience first, chronological order. There are other orders, like if you don't have like chronological things, like if you have missed few months in your career, there's a gap, you can go with the the best thing, that best experience first. But in your case, I think you are still new and you are going to the industry first, so you can put the latest experience, your industrial trainings, in the chronological order, which is the latest one that you got, latest experience. So you can see this one has put money product manager. Then you have to put the duration from when to when. If it's present, you can put present. And then you have to describe that job, what you did, what exactly you did in that particular position, what experience you gained. And it's very good to put numbers like, increases, percentages, outcomes, and the durations again, what you did. So carefully read. I will be reading. If you can't see, you can just close your eyes and listen. Managed mobile app redesign team concept to hunch. Okay, so I'm admitting some. Okay, redesign from concept to launch. Okay, so that managed is a verb. You can clearly see did something. Managed. Did what? Mobile app redesign from concept to launch. Redesign. Introduce more efficient layout and resulting in 15 plus downloads. So there's some way to measure the progress. So you have done something and there was a particular solution or particular activity involved, and there's a particular outcome, a very good outcome, like increase in downloads or increase in user engagement during a duration. So those are the things that you have to add, like not vague things, so pay attention to that as well. And then next one, led a team of 10 engineers. That means leadership. Led a team of 10 engineers plus design and UX professionals to develop new product features. So that is leadership. And then going back to the next experience, chronological order. And you can add the volunteer experiences. You can see in the CV Saturday. So most important thing is breaking down your responsibilities. What you did, what were you responsible for? Even if it was learning, if you learn, you can add it as acquired the knowledge and experience. Things like that, subtle differences. Learned about or read about, those are not going to make a big impact, but acquired the knowledge and experienced, things like that. So verbs are very important. I'll come to that again. And strong action verbs. Always remember the strong action verb. And volunteer experience is also very important. Consider adding that and consider doing volunteer activities too. Just don't become a bookworm, because that's not going to help you when you go out to the society. Get involved in societies, IET, IEEE, Toastmasters, Lions, Rotary Club, whatever the society that you feel comfortable, join them and become an active member in those volunteer activities. And quantify your bullets whenever possible, but don't add too many bullets. You can see here, there are no bullets here. There are no bullets here. Where is my, okay, I'll take this. There are no bullets here. Can I draw? Yes, I can, I think, yes. Here there are no bullets, but here there are bullets. So like I said earlier, it's very important to carefully use the bullets. Even any tool, but we can call it but you have to use it very carefully to make what you want to be highlighted. Then we'll go next. So for academic and grants and fellowships, you will be asked to submit a CV. If you are applying for a job outside academic, it's a resume. CVs have a minimalist style and no design elements, because you can go to any length of pages. But a resume should look nice and have more white spaces and organized more than a CV. So the content, now you have the all the content. Now imagine, now you have collected, first of all, before preparing the CV or anything, you collect the details first. 1 minute. First of all, collect the details. Don't copy from anyone else. Before going on to taking someone's CV and copying and pasting things, first collect your details. This is a very important document in your life, right? After your birth certificate, I think this is very important. So don't try to copy it or do it easy way. Get the details first. What are your achievements? What are your experiences? What are your qualifications? What are your volunteer experiences? What are your skills? Take some time, brainstorm yourself. Write it down somewhere, mind map, and select the best skills according to your priority order and according to the job you apply as well. I explain this at the end. So gather the details. Now you have to process them. Now, skills-based resume, as I told earlier, is when you have gaps in your career. If you, for example, if you were not well or some reason, you couldn't find a job for a few months, that's a gap in your career. You can go for a skill-based resume where, without going for the chronological order, you are taking the most important or the experience you can highlight from first and going back after dig little by little going down. So that is the skill-based order. Chronological order is what I said, starting from the latest and going down. Even the educational experiences, when you add it there, you can start from the latest educational experience and go back. So in my case, it's the MBA, then the BSc, and then A-level and O-levels. So nowadays, I don't even add my A-levels and O-levels because, of course, I have passed them and come so far. Then next thing is online presence. So like I said earlier, your LinkedIn profile, not the Facebook profile, LinkedIn is very important. I see nowadays when I visit LinkedIn, it's also becoming more and more like Facebook and TikTok. I don't know why it is so, but be mindful not to use it that way. So it's one of the best top platforms for recruiters to get to know you. So it has to be a little bit different from Facebook. So because 87% of the time, they check your LinkedIn, Facebook as well, but you can anyway change the name in Facebook or do something with that. But that's where you do your, relax and do your personal things. But LinkedIn, always try to project your professional side. The things that will be related to your career or the career that you're going to choose. For example, it's like that breadcrumb leaving. If you have heard about the Hansel and Gretel story, they leave breadcrumbs so that they can come the next day and find their way back home. Of course, it went wrong, but this is sort of leaving breadcrumbs, your LinkedIn profile. You can use it in a good way. It's exactly like your online CV or resume. And you have to update it always, like at least once a month, go there. And if you have got a new certification, new skill, you can update that. Okay, so when it comes to resume, it's the profile section at the top. So after your personal details, your name, your address, your contact details, then you have to put your personal statement, like the personal objective. You can say it objective, but personal statement is better. Who you are, that's what going to catch the eye. And one thing is, it's like your summary, right? Who you are, the personal statement. So don't write it at the beginning. Combine all your details into the CV and look at it at the end and summarize. Okay, who am I? Who do I want to give them the idea? Who am I? So write it at the end and be very creative about it. Don't copy from someone else. Be creative. Write it, even if you're comfortable with single, you can write it in single and then get it translated to English. But it's personal. It's about you. Okay, so always remember, it's unique. You are unique, and your personal statement has to be unique. That is the way to catch the eye. And you also have to be careful about the achievements that match the job offer. So I think some institutes, they are very particular if you are good at sports. So you can put those achievements at a little bit priority level. And some other jobs are interested in like IT skills, maybe software skills, particular software applications, particular programming languages. If it's a telecommunication job, qualifications and skills like CCNA, network programming, and I think internet security related skills, those will be very particular for that job. So put it to the top, and the other skills you can put after that. Even the achievements like the certification. So if it's a telecommunications job, put the telecommunication achievements first, then come to the next achievements. And quantify those achievements. Like, if you have got a result of 99%, good grade in something, a certification out of a number, you can add them as well, even a pass mark. And like I said, in the job experience part, what is the outcome? Like increase in downloads, increase in purchasing, or decrease in a cost, anything like that, that can highlight what you achieved. And always tailor your resume profile for a specific company. Don't go and send the same resume to every job. Before sending for the particular job, go through it and again, and think how you can change it to make it suit better to that job. Even like your personal details, if it has changed, you can update them. So look at this, the sentence, motivated and detail-oriented graduate. This is a personal statement, okay? Motivated and detail-oriented. Graduate from CUNY with a BS in accounting, skilled in compiling and organizing data for invoicing. So this is his particular personal statement. Maybe he fine-tuned it for the job he's applying, as well as collecting and managing campaign data reporting. So maybe he's applying for some political company or something, I don't know, but campaign data reporting, look at that. I think mostly related to data analysis. Seeks to join GHI to help monitor, maintain, and complete client billing and reconciliations. So he's applying for an organization and he's focusing on that organization. So he has highlighted that skill, that experiences, and seeks to join this particular organization for this purpose. Can you see how they have fine-tuned it for that opening? This is what you can do as well. Without sending the same CV, you can fine-tune the personal statement even for that particular job. And next, another sample, 2 samples to be honest. To do well by doing good while supporting and elevating those around me. This is the chairman of a company called Infuse System, but this is very vague. You can see very vague, no no specific outcomes focused on supporting and elevating those around me. Next one is embrace something bigger than yourself, continually improve your skills, inspire others to achieve great things, so and make the world a better place. You don't have to be so saint-like in your personal statement, but you can focus on a particular problem that's there in the society or in that company and give your how you can contribute to that, what value you can bring to make things better. Simple, and but like that guy previously had done, like focus on what areas you can contribute to. This is the formula. What, for whom, how, and what you want for yourself. You are not going to do anything for free, right? Yeah, most of the time we need a salary, that's true. But in a career, you are focusing on gaining some skill or experience for you as well, apart from the salary. So that is what important. Don't make them feel like you are focusing on the money only. You have to give the message that you are focusing on developing or growing yourself by doing something for someone in a particular manner. So that is your personal mission. So you can see there are other examples like save time and money for my clients. So if you are working in a legal firm, if you are going to save time and money for your clients, that's a good objective. Use my project management skills to deliver efficiency and productivity. You can particularly say cut down costs, create powerful software solutions that makes users' lives easier. You can even focus on a particular set of users like elders or mothers or children, particular users, and provide the best possible care to patients with maximum efficiency. That can be a doctor or nurse. You can even say that, bring down the number of maternal deaths, defend client rights against those who would subvert them. So these are little things that you focus on, but will make your personal statement very special. So focus on that next time you're fine-tuning your CV. And the hard skills. Now, the soft skills are like speaking and dealing with people, but the hard skills are the skills that you have to use to do that job, get done. And it can be specific to a job, like if you are using a tool, if you are using a software, if you are using a certain technique, like 5S even. So it's a hard skill. So you can say technical skills, computer skills, MS Office, analytical, marketing, presentation, some are software as well. Writing skills and quality management. I think if you are doing quality assurance in software, you have to create bugs and make the software crash and all things like that. Design skills and certificates. So anything that shows that you can do the job technically in person is a hard skill. So there are examples like when you come at your experiences, implemented team-wide use of Google Docs, Slack, and Trello. These are like tools to slash project time to delivery 35%. So you are using a tool, you have a certain skill by a tool, using a tool, and you bought an outcome. Reduce the time to delivery by 35%. So time is a resource again. And redesign budgeting methods to increase project delivery rate by 20%. So increasing the duration the project is delivered by 20%. Cutting down costs is also another outcome that is favorable. Those are hard skills. And the soft skills are again communication. Now, you might be very intelligent, you might be the top of your batch, but if you can't get the message through to the other person you are working with, it might be your colleague, it might be your boss, it might be a subordinate who you are giving instructions to. If you can't explain them or work with them in a good, amicable manner, like friendly manner, if you're always like fighting or aggressive, or the way that you talk is making them uncomfortable, then it's not a good skill, soft skill. You have to focus on that part. That is where communications comes in. Then adaptability. Life is not always a bed of roses. So sometimes if you are not able to do something, so you have to adapt yourselves, do it in another way. Solutions to problems. Leadership. If there are no leaders, or the existing leader suddenly gets sick, or there is a gap where a leader is required, you might have to take the leadership and lead the team at that moment. And time management, emotional intelligence. This is very important. Now, ladies, if there are ladies, you feel about how the others feel, if their facial expressions changes, if they look particularly sad or angry, we get that quickly. But a little bit difficult for gents. So gents can focus on developing their emotional intelligence. Look at your colleagues, bosses, subordinates, and if their facial expressions are giving away something, be very careful about how you deal with them. So if they are in a very bad mood, don't go and ask for a raise, things like that. If they are in a sad mood, don't go and share your happiness with them. Little things like that. And then active listening. So most of the time we listen to answer, but if you can listen to carefully understand what the other person is telling, even during interviews, when you listen, you can get defensive that this person is asking in this manner. But you can take it the other way. You can take it as, okay, this person is asking this question to get to know me better. Think that way. And interpersonal skills, like dealing with difficult people, dealing with, difficult bosses even sometimes. So those are interpersonal. Talking and getting your things done. Other things are also there, like stress management, persuasion, collaboration, doing something together with a different team. So those are soft skills. So these are good to add in a resume. Focus on the things that you are good at and add them. So be aware of what you're adding. You must be able to, if in an interview they ask you, you have added adaptability as a soft skill. How do you elaborate on it? How do you explain that? Then you have to have examples with you to answer those. Action verbs, like I said earlier, very important. Managed the highly successful lean training project, improved quality, brought down costs. So very strong and particular action verbs will help you get the attention of the recruiter's eye. The formula is problem, action, and result. So PAR, always remember, when you are using PAR, you can give a good experience in your CV. But what was the problem? What was the action that you took? And what was the result? And very strong action verbs, as always: managed, improved, cut down the costs, things like that. Reduced wastage. Nowadays, it's very important. Reduced use of paper. Now, if you can introduce a method to reduce use of paper, like printing, that's going to be a huge achievement in the current situation. Now, the summary and recap of the resume. We'll come to the summary. So the layout is very important. Either it could be reverse chronological from the latest to the first, or it could be skill-based, like I taught. Then subheadings, clear sections where you can divide your CV into, like the personal statement, educational experiences, work experiences, skills, volunteer experiences, things like that. Achievements and awards. And okay, fonts. It's very good if you can go for modern and legible fonts without the cursive fonts. Something that's very easy on the eye. 12 PT is good. And for the section titles, 14 to 16 point is good. Margins, keep the margins, because if you don't have margins, the time that they print and sometimes you print and take it into a file without the margins, it won't look nice. And line spacing, 1.15 is recommended, or single line if you don't have much space. Then sections, between the sections, try to leave spaces so it will be clear and visible. Save as PDF. unless the job ad says like that, save as PDF. Why? Because it's easy to when you save as a Word and send it to them, when they open in their computer, it might change. But PDF, whatever the software it opens in Acrobat or Foxit or Microsoft PDF, it will look the same. So that is also another tip. And the headers, only in the header, the header of the CV, at the top of your CV, relevant contact information. Don't use everything like your Instagram or Facebook or everything. Email address, personal address, mobile phone to contact you, and the name that you use in the industry. Let me tell you something about the email address. There are some email addresses that when we are young and when we are in a hurry or no particular reason at all, we go and open an email account like cool girl, handsome boy at gmail.com. So avoid using those email addresses. If you don't have a good email address, try to create one freshly so you can add in your CV. Something that looks professional and your name. Then, yes, introduction part where you explain what you are oriented about and why you are applying for that job to get a certain outcome and experience. So you can add that part. Work experience, again, use the strong action verbs like manage, improved, and education also. If you don't have many things to add, you can add your school education. But if you have other certifications and the latest things, CCNA, things like that, you can add at the beginning. And if you have space, you can add the O-level or A-level certifications as well. Skills. Concise list of the most job-related abilities. Like I said earlier, there are so many skills, but don't go on and add everything. Focus on the skills that's particularly very relevant to that job. Not everything, you might be able to climb coconut trees, but that's not relevant to a job in telecommunications. I'm just taking one example, don't get hurt or anything, just one example. So every skill is not relevant to every job. So be very careful when you're selecting the skills. Then extra sections like certifications, awards, even your sports certifications, they are very important. If you have sports or and some kind of dancing or music, singing, anything, those are also very important because it shows that you are not only a book person, you are a person who goes out and moves with the society. That means you have good interpersonal skills. So these are this is a summary, and apart from that, this is a most famous question, most wanted question, the GPA. Unless the employer has requested it, you don't have to add it there. But you have to add it if you are a newcomer, you are it's the first job that you are going to get in the industry. You can add it, or you can just say it's a second class upper, second class lower, without mentioning the number. And sometimes I get this question, should it be 3.5 or higher? No, not always. I know people personally who have low GPA but have bagged the job because they were good at the interview. So it all comes down to how you face the interview as well. So don't worry about the number. Focus on what you do in your skills and experience side. And also, your GPA can be a strong point if you don't have work experience. So for academic people, this is anyway important. If it's your first job, anyway, your GPA is going to be important if you add it there. If it's a good GPA, like if you have 3.9 or something, it's good to add it there. But it's not going to guarantee that you will get the job because you have to face the interview as well. Next thing is extracurricular. That's very important, as I said. It shows that you have the job-related skills and maturity, dealing with people, because working with a machine or a laptop is easy. You don't have to talk with it, right? You don't have to explain things to it, or when people work together, it's very difficult. One person wants one thing, another person wants another thing. So getting together and getting a work done it requires a lot of patience and maturity. So that's why that extracurricular shows that you are good at it. Sports, Definitely sports shows that you have good sportsmanship, that you can win or lose. You are not going to mind about that. So when you lack job experience, again, extracurricular can give you a huge boost. And hobbies, like if you have hobbies like photography, cycling, nature, you are a nature enthusiast, anything that shows that you have any particular skill. If someone asks you during the interview, why do you do this? You can get prepared. You know, why I do this? What do you get it outside of? Maybe you can get a good stress release. If you are a dancer, if you go work out to the gym, what is the outcome? You can say that it keeps you healthy, and as well as it's good for your mental health. It helps you relieve your stress and makes you more prepared for the challenges. Things like that, okay? Why you do a hobby. And if you are in a students' council or the IEEE or IT or whatever the organization, if you are involved in the planning, event planning or organizing, it again gives away that you are a good person with people. And volunteering. Why normally when you see volunteering, we care more about others. That is what volunteering is about. When you care more about others, then it shows that you are more like, you know, more of a giver than a taker. That means you have more to offer to that organization. So volunteering is also a good thing. Charity works. So always consider doing that actually, and then you can add it to your CV. So before applying for the job, always research about the company. You can research from the internet, or you can, LinkedIn is a good place. If you can like, you know, send requests to few people in LinkedIn who are working in that organization and get a look at their profiles, or even send them a personal message. And if you have contacts, seniors, somewhere, someone who can give you the information about that company, get it. So researching again. And the specification carefully, read it very carefully what that job is about. Because if without reading, if you go and ask a stupid question again at the interview, then they will know that you haven't read the job description properly. So don't give yourself away in any way. And prepare yourself, take your CV and a portfolio with you when you go with your certifications and everything. And always think in advance for the questions you might be asked. Most of the time it's again from your CV, right? So when you are adding something in your CV, be prepared to get a question from that and have the answer ready. Also, sometimes the recruiters are interested in people who ask questions from them. So you can be very subtle and ask questions like, what are the work hours? What are the other benefits that you can get? So you can recommend the organization, or you can share with your friends. Be very subtle, not to give away too much, like how much is the salary. No, those things, if even if you if they ask you how much you are expecting, be prepared anyway. Do your research about the industry and be prepared how much you will be expecting and why you expect that amount again. And find out where the location is before going, because if you go late, then you are going to, of course, miss the bus. So be prepared, go in advance. If you can, always be well dressed and everything, plan your journey. I think we can do about the dressing part in a separate session if they are interested. Anyway, dressing well is also important. So some organizations, like government organizations, don't like tattoos and all. There are things like that, subtleties. So most importantly, customize your CV. Don't copy paste everything exactly to the next one, and don't copy from your friends as well. Be unique, make your CV unique, customize it. That is the way that you stand out from the crowd. Okay, that's called personal branding. You are unique. You are a unique person. No one can do the things that you do, and you can't do the things someone else does. So stand out in your own way. These are some examples. I will be sharing this presentation with you so you can go through it. So how do you acquire these skills again? LinkedIn has a lot of free courses I have seen, and Udemy, Coursera. I recently got to know about Coursera. There's a website called Coursera. There are free courses. You have to, if you are getting the certification, you have to pay an amount. Otherwise, if you are learning it, you can go through it freely. and YouTube. Some YouTube channels are very, very nice. You can learn a lot. And of course, if you can join a Toastmasters club, if you can only, anyway, if you can join other organizations where you can hone your soft skills, if you're not, even now it's not late. And blog, if you can find something that you're passionate about and blog, it will be your own personal brand, and the way that you stand, you can add it in your CV as well, that you have a personal blog and you are publishing about this, even science fiction, that's okay. And find a mentor and coach. Sometimes this can be your elder in your family, or it can be your school teacher or a lecturer or a senior or even a colleague. So find someone who you can get advice and guidance regarding particular areas in your skill set where you think you have to improve. Not everything. Like if you think you have problems with public speaking, if you think you have a problem with a particular skill, find someone, not even more than one person, to get advice on that thing, because you have to ask to get. And get together with friends with same interest. There are, I think, groups on Facebook or things like that. You can join. Even LinkedIn, there are groups, particular groups where they are interested on subjects. Keep on learning. So after university, it's nothing like your learning curve is over. No, that's when it will start, because you will go out to the industry and there will be a lot of opportunities to learn. So never stop learning. So these are the references. I will share this presentation with you. You can go through them and get the idea as well. So are there any questions? Do we have any questions? Do I look odd in this? Like I'm using a virtual background. Looks like part of my head is missing anyway. Do we have any questions? Okay, will someone be asking the questions, or should I go there and take a look at it?
I will be asking the questions, but if
Yeah.
it's okay with you, you can.
Yeah, that's okay.
All right. Okay, thank you, Ms. Zahra, for those insightful words. You won't have such an incredible opportunity to clarify all your doubts through someone who is well versed in the field. So it's time for the Q&A session. Feel free to drop your questions on Slido. The link for that is shared with you in the chat box. Let's quickly go through the questions. So, Ms. Zahra, I will be directing the questions that the participants have included in the Slido. The first question is, I entered my school achievements first, university achievements at the bottom of the page, add format.
Yeah, I think I explained this earlier. Go for the chronological order always. So the school achievements you can add last. Take the university achievements to the top.
All right.
Give
Next
it the priority because it's the latest. So take your latest achievements to the top.
Okay. What are the duties and responsibilities an electrical engineer or electronic engineer need to include to identify as a good engineer?
So first of all, I'll say now go with the ethics always. Whatever the thing that you are doing for the public. So first of all, consider the well-being of the public. What is the thing that you are going to design something, or you are going to create something or construct something? Keep in mind that it should be in a good way that will benefit the person who is using it. And safety as well. The people who are working with you and yourself, their safety. So I'll say public well-being and safety. Those things keep in mind. And next, you can focus on the improvements, the things, the technical part, how to improve it further, and the costs and everything will come next. First of all, please consider safety, like your safety and your co-workers' safety, and users and public's well-being.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Next, what kind of people we must connect to our LinkedIn account?
Beg your pardon, can you repeat it again?
Yeah, sure. What kind of people we must connect to our LinkedIn account? Should we want to connect people who are only in our industry?
No, that's not needed, because if you go through, it's like a professional environment. Sometimes there are people who are coaches, like motivational coaches, leadership coaches, HR managers, even there are recruiters, headhunters, who you can learn a lot. Not only your industry. Now, if you are connecting only with the industry people, for example, if I'm connecting only with electrical engineers, that's the only thing I'm going to learn. I mean, if you're, your left brain and right brain, they have two, two uses. If you're focusing more on your right brain, your creativity and things like that will increase. If you focus more on your left brain, then your writing skill and analytical skills will increase. But you can balance both by getting to know people outside of your industry, like leadership coaches, like I said, communicators, speakers, people who advocate for equal rights. There's a lot to learn, and you never know who you are going to get in touch in the future. So don't get limited like that. Whoever you feel like, go ahead and send them a request.
All right, next we have in the interview, if I don't know the exact answer for a question, how do I attend the situation correctly?
Yes, don't panic, never panic. I'll switch off the video if my video is not clear and the bandwidth is having a problem. So never panic. First of all, if you don't know or you need more time, you can get more time very tactfully. You can say that I didn't understand what you asked from me. Can you rephrase the question? So you can buy some more time from them. And even then, if you don't know the answer, if it's genuinely if it's something that you have added in the CV, then you have to be prepared. If not, like if it's genuinely something that out of context, like they are testing your knowledge on some regarding something, you can give a general answer that you are still learning that, or maybe genuinely I don't know that, I'm still new to that concept, I'm trying to learn it. So best thing is not lie, because if you lie, they can identify it easily from your body language and the way that you behave and all. So you can buy more time if you didn't understand the question. And still then, if you can't answer it, you can be honest and say, at the moment, I'm finding difficult to reply to it because I don't know much about it, things like that. So be always honest, okay? Because if you lie and it get caught, it's going to get ugly. So always think about that.
Thank you, ma'am. We have one more question. Do the recruiters believe the free online certifications like Coursera and Udemy? Is it good to add those online certificates in a CV?
Yes, it is good. It shows that you are a continuous learner. Okay, you are in your free time, you are going out there and making an effort to learn things that are not given in your normal academic transcript. So it shows that you are dedicated, self-motivated. So if you can, definitely add those.
That's the end of questions we have for you today, ma'am. Thank you very much all, and thank you, ma'am, for answering those questions. A kind request from you all, we will be circulating the feedback form in the chat box. So feel free to give your comments and feedback regarding today's program. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Ms. Zahra Merzouk for accepting our honorable invitation today. Please accept this digital token of appreciation.
Thank you very much, Famudin and everyone, for participating.
Thank you once again. Now I invite all our participants to switch on your cameras to take a quick photo as a memory. The participants can now switch on your cameras. We will be waiting for a few more seconds, so if you all could turn on your cameras, it will be great.
Yeah, we are sorry about that. We have now enabled the camera access. Yeah, you can go ahead now. Now let's go ahead.
All right, so I will be counting from 1 to 3. You can say cheese. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, we are good to
Give
go.
me a minute.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, once again, sorry. Thank you. So without taking much time, I now invite the Vice Chair of Student Pro 5.0, Mr. Sahan Edirivira, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Hamza, you can hear me properly, right? Suppose I'm audible.
Yeah, you are doing.
Yeah. Okay. Good evening,
we can
everyone.
hear you.
I consider it an honor to deliver the vote of thanks on this special occasion. So first of all, I'd like to thank Ms. Sarah Musuk for accepting our invitation and delivering a phenomenal session. It was very informative. I suppose everyone got the best out of it. I'd like to thank the Young Professionals Sri Lanka section for being the supporting pillar behind all our hard work. It's my pleasure to thank the IEEE Region 10 Sri Lanka section Student Activities Committee for their immeasurable support throughout this process. Finally, I'd like to thank you all for participating and making this event a success. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sahan. By and by, we have come to the end of this unique session that explored the and electronic engineering stream. We hope to see you guys with another informative session. We now sign out of today's session. Thank you very much. Stay safe and have a good day.